Hey guys, Graham here with InlinePerformanceMag.com, and today we're taking one more step and putting our Project Corona GSXR 600 back on the road. Today we're going to be putting the rear tire on, but first we're going to make sure we replace our sprockets with these new ones from Vortex. We're actually going to be going down one tooth in the rear sprocket, and we believe this is the same, but we'll actually see when we get it taken off. We've got an aluminum rear sprocket here from Vortex and a steel nickel-plated drive sprocket. So we're ready to get busy, get the wheels back on the bike, and we're good to go. All right, so the first step, we have to separate our old 46 tooth sprocket from the stock hub. We've had this soaked with penetrating oil for the last half hour or so, so hopefully these bolts will come off nice and easy. All right, so as you can see here, I've got the old sprocket that came off the motorcycle, and we're replacing it with this much sexier aluminum Vortex piece. So before we actually get the sprocket back on the wheel, we just got to install the cush drive. It's just 5 rubber dampers that fit into these right inside the wheel, and then the sprocket will fit down over that. All right, we've got the cush drive sitting in the wheel. It's time to just put the hub on. You can see teeth fit in here where the gaps are. Alright, so before we put the axle in, we want to make sure to get the axle nice and lubricated using a moly grease. This is moly lithium grease, comes in a big tube, and just put a light film of grease over the whole thing. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got our axle laid out with all the necessary brackets and spacers which go on it, and obviously the order is extremely important because you wouldn't want something going wrong with your back tire. So the first thing to go on the axle, which goes in from the right side of the motorcycle across to the left, is the bracket for the chain adjuster. You can see the thick side where the adjuster to act on goes toward the front of the motorcycle. Next, we have the brake caliper bracket. See the flat side goes out, and obviously we're going to be taking this off again because we'll be putting everything through the swing arm. We'll have a spacer that goes here. Then we'll actually have the tire itself will go in between here, or the wheel, excuse me. And then on the other side, one more spacer. Of course, the adjuster bracket and the nut. So when everything is assembled, it will be wheel here and everything else will look this way. So now we'll just go ahead and lift the wheel up and get the whole thing on the motorcycle. Alright, so we've got our trusted moly grease here again. Just before you actually slide the axle through, we're going to make sure we give this spacer, which acts on the hub bearing, nice smear of grease so everything's all lubricated. We'll do the same thing inside the bearing. And then we can actually just pop this guy into place right now. So when you set the wheel up there, everything will be where it needs to be. Alright, so we've got all the spacers and the caliper bracket here. Just got to work the axle through. Okay, so we've got the axle through. Of course, the last thing, put the chain adjuster bracket on. Just like that. And the final axle nut. Importantly, we will be needing to put, of course, a cotter pin in there to locate everything. But we're not going to tighten it just yet because we still need to do the front sprocket and put the chain on and of course tension the chain. So in the future, when you're taking your rear sprocket off, loosen these bolts while the bike is still on the ground. You can have all the grippy tire for all the resistance you need. And similarly, when we tighten it, we'll just go ahead and put the bike back on the ground and then go ahead and double check it with a torque wrench just to make sure. Go ahead and move on to the drive sprocket. Now we've already taken off the small Allen bolt which holds on the speed sensor, which actually goes in front of the drive sprocket. We already unbolted that, and now all we have to do is take off the very large nut which actually holds the drive sprocket in place. Now to keep that engine from spinning while that's happening, we went ahead and put it in gear. Old sprocket's off. You can see the spines are clean, no leaks coming out of, no leaks around the seal from the output shaft. You can just go ahead and compare that with our new one. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and put our new sprocket on, keeping the raised side on the inside because we have a washer that goes on the outside behind the nut. So it slipped over the spines real easily, 15 tooth, just like the one that came off. Washer. Last thing is the big nut. Alright, so with the main big nut on and torqued, the last thing is to simply reinstall the speed sensor. And that's using this Allen bolt. Fits right in there. We're going to use our Allen socket to tighten it. Try not to use Allen keys as much as possible. They tend to strip screws and create more headaches. Always invest in a set of sockets. Tighten that up. Alright, that's it for this update here on Project Corona, but keep it tuned to inlineperformancemag.com as next time we put a new chain on our brand new Sprockets and start buttoning all the covers up and making this thing a motorcycle again. I got a huge one like this long now.